To have you all with us here tonight celebrating Black History Month. We're really excited about the conversation. Macy's Herald Square is thrilled to celebrate lasting legacies this month and to celebrate with all of you. And we're having this celebration and this conversation across the country with all of our customers, our colleagues, and our community. So we're really excited about that. We're proud to continue this conversation. We've been doing this for a while. Again, it is part of who we are as a company. But I'm really honored tonight to introduce Voza Rivers, Vice President of the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce. Voza is a leading African.
Read some of it. You know, as Black History Month, locally Americans have recognized and celebrated Black History Month since 1926, but first as Negro History Week and later Black History Month. And we owe the celebration of Black History Month and more importantly the study of Black history to Dr. Carter G. Woodson. Our Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce, after 123 years in business, 40 years after our founding, Black History Week was established. What we decided to do when we started out in 1974, we started out as Harlem Day. And Harlem Day turned into Harlem Week. But Harlem Week for us is just like Black History Month. It is a whole month. The whole month of August is called Harlem Week. And during
and we do that in New York and at large, and we've been in business since 2007. So clearly I love all things Harlem and all things fashion. That is why I am so excited to sit and talk with our guest of honor tonight, Mr. Dapper Dan. I want to thank Sean Outler, Macy's Chief Diversity Officer, and Mr. Voza Rivers of the Harlem Chamber of Commerce for giving us context and setting the scene for tonight.
There's a lot of young people who watch social media, and there's a lot of things that they don't know. So what I want to do tonight, I'm being filmed so that we can put this on social media so young people can play it over and over again. So I'm going to introduce some information before we go into who I am.
All right, are y'all ready? Got your cameras out? All right.
Teach! Activism. Let's talk about activism. My mic. Activism, so young people can be up to date on what I'm talking about. Activism consists of efforts to promote, impede, direct, or intervene in social, political, economical, or environmental reform with the desire to make changes in society. Forms of activism range from the mandate building in the community, including writing letters to newspapers, petitioning elected officials, running or contributing to a political campaign, preferential patronage or boycotts of business and demonstrations, forms of activism like rallies, street marches, strikes, sit-ins, or hunger strikes. Activism may be performed on a day-to-day basis or a wide variety of ways, including through the creation of art activism, computer hacking, hacktivism, or simply one chooses to spend their money economic activism. For example, the refusal to buy clothes or other merchandise from a company that protests against exploitation of workers or of a company could be considered an expression of activism. However, the most highly visible impact of activism often comes in the form of collective action. Collective action in which numerous individuals coordinate an act of protest together in order to make a bigger impact. Collective action that is purposeful, organized, and sustained over a period of time becomes known as social movement. Historically, activists have used literature, including pamphlets, tracts, and books, to disseminate their message and attempt to persuade their readers of the justice of their cause. Research has now begun to explore how contemporary activist groups use social media to facilitate civic engagement and collective action, combining political with technology. Okay, that's part one. What did Jackie Robinson do? Jackie Robinson came over from the Negro League. You understand that? From the Negro League, and integrated baseball. Now when you look at baseball today, what do you see? Majority of the baseball players, or maybe 25 or 50% of the baseball players, are African American or of people of color, rollers. Nathaniel Sweetwater Clifton, he came over from the Harlem Globetrotters. When I was growing up, the Harlem Globetrotters was the only black team we had. We had to watch them on TV. They couldn't even go across the Mason-Dixon line. When Nathaniel Sweetwater Clifton, when he crossed over and went to the NBA, he opened up the doors for the NBA for all black. We are 80% of the NBA now. Roll. Yeah. Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks. We had to sit in the back of the bus. She said, I'm not going for it. And because she's not going for it, we was able to sit where we want on the bus. But not only that, now we bus drivers. Roll it. John Lewis. Y'all know who John Lewis was? Y'all remember he sat at that counter and he couldn't eat? He said, I'm eating here. Now we all eating where we want to eat. Yeah. And let me tell you something else about John Lewis, right? Not only did he integrate all the restaurants in the United States, now he's a congressman and he's leading the charge to bring Donald Trump to justice. Roll. Everybody knows this. This is self-explanatory. If we wasn't able to go to these schools and if we didn't educate ourselves, we would not be where we are today. And we are where we are today because of this. Roll. Now, y'all know who she is? She is the CEO for the Dallas Mavericks when they were discriminating against women. Now 50%, since she's been there, 50% of the Dallas Mavericks are being run by women. Okay, I'm ready for the questions now. Call back.
What's up, OG?
Go back. Y'all don't even know my history.
What's up, OG?
Y'all ain't done. Yeah, put it back, because I left me out. I'm concentrating on all them giants. I forgot to mention. I'm not playing with this game. I know how y'all came in. I know y'all came to yell and shout, but I got it for you today.
Oh, yeah.
You think I ain't gonna lay it down? You think I've been in the lane? Y'all don't even know what this journey been like for 50 years. Roll that tape. You see what this is? You see what this is? What that say? 40 acres in the mule. Spike Lee was in grade school when I was writing for this newspaper. Ooh. You hear what I'm saying? Now, and look at this. Take a look at this. This is what I told Harlem. I say, Harlem, gentrification is coming to Harlem. 1968. I said, gentrification is coming to Harlem. You see this here? This is the state building before it was built. I took a prototype of the state building, put it on the front page of the 40 acres in the mule, and made it look like a Trojan horse because that's how they got in. That's how they got in. Nobody listened to me. The first time I got some money, I bought me a brownstone in Harlem. I've been in Harlem all my life and I'm not going nowhere. I learned when they raided my store and I had to sleep, me and my wife and my son, Jelani was grown now, we had to snuggle up together because I couldn't buy all, but I wasn't moving. You know, so we need to tell that story. I told black folks, don't move. Don't move. This fight I'm fighting now didn't just start here with Gucci. This didn't start with Gucci. I've been getting a 50-year-old fight, and I got another one to come. So let me tell you something. The same way we gave away Harlem, they didn't take Harlem from us, we gave it away. You listen to the wrong people, they said, burn, baby, burn. And I got articles on that. Burn, baby, burn. That's what the Panthers were saying back then. We burned down our own goddamn community, didn't want to leave it no more, walked away from it instead of fixing it up. But I wasn't going nowhere. I fixed my own brownstone up and stayed in Harlem and been there all my life. With the burn, baby, burn. Keep following the burn, baby, burn. We got to get inside if you want to change something. Yes. Questions? My son, I didn't grow up in an age where we believe in other folks. I'm going to say other folks this time. You know, so he said, but Dad, man, it's a different world now. He said, I said, man, I ain't going for it. I said, if it's real, Tell them to come to Harlem. They came to Harlem. You know? I say if it's a deal, I don't want a collaboration, I want a partnership. They gave me a partnership. Right? I said, well, how are we splitting it? How are we going to do this thing? They said, here, Dapper Dan, we're going to do a collection based on everything you made in the 80s, and you're going to get a percentage of that globally. Globally. And everything you do in that store is yours. Now, y'all really need to see that. Now, this is my trajectory for me being in this game, right? Why can't I be treated like anybody else? I say, this is going to have to be. I'll go for a national brand, a global brand. I rise to the top and do the same thing Tom Ford and Marc Jacobs. They copied off me anyway. Why can't I have that trajectory? So I get to the top, show that I can do this, and the whole world will buy from Dapper Dan, and then I go out and form Dapper Dan. Before I get that plan in motion, here come the loudmouths. Do y'all know what y'all stopping? Do you realize what you're stopping? I'm taking this somewhere else. Do I look like I'm at the end of the game? I ain't at the beginning of the game. Right. I'm here to show young people how this game go. Don't be following no ignorant ass people and end up with nothing. You know, and now let's talk about the mistake. Y'all surprised they made a mistake? No. Y'all gotta be crazy, because the day they stop making mistakes, you in trouble. Because the day they stop making mistakes, that means they done mastered our game. Every time they make a mistake, you gotta say, come give me some. Come open another door. All the mistakes we gotta take advantage of, because, you know, y'all didn't see various generations. I grew up with rock and roll. Now rock and roll is theirs. Do you understand what I'm saying? So as soon as they master something, they take the name. Don't you understand that? They take the name, they take over it. So what we have to do is keep checking them, and when you catch them, say, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? How you gonna walk away from the prize? You put the prize out there and you gonna walk away from the prize? How much sense does that make? You gonna get mad at them? That's girl, boy stuff, little teenage stuff. You get mad at me? No. What you gonna give me? You don't embarrass me. What you gonna give me? I don't care. You know, never mind that. I don't expect them to understand our culture. The day they master our culture, when we can't complain, it's over. Now, hip hop. Let's talk about hip hop. We get these cultural moments, right? I grew up like we had a West Indian period. West Indian music was power. We was bouncing and jumping in all the ballrooms in Harlem. You know, Harry Belafonte became important, and that faded. We ain't make no money. We ain't make no global money off Calypso. You know, then here come we had a jazz era. We ain't make no money off jazz. Here come a rock and roll era. We ain't make no money off rock and roll. This is the first time we are going global with a musical genre. We got to take advantage of it, because it's going to diffuse itself the same way the other musical forms diffuse themselves. You know, so you have to, this might take another 20 years, because you might think it's going to be ever, but it slowly morphs into something else. You know? Eminem is not an accident. Elvis Presley was not an accident. You got to pay attention to history, because if you don't understand history, you're doomed to repeat the mistakes we made in the past. How many wise men have told you that? Next question.
So talking about hip-hop, let's stay there for a second. How is hip-hop impacting what's happening in fashion right now?
Hip-hop? Oh yeah, let's talk about that. This is sad. I know y'all ain't gonna like this here. But hip-hop are the influences now. Our culture has circled the globe. But don't get it twisted. We are only buying of the major brands. You hear on the internet that we're spending 50% of Gucci? Are you crazy? We are 2 to 5% of what the bottom line of Gucci. What we do for the brand is we influence other people to buy it. That's our purpose. Now tell me that ain't modern day minstrelsism. Do you understand what that means? We sing and dance and we rap, right? They put us on stage and we promote a brand, and we ain't in the brand. You got to understand our influence. Get facts. You got to get facts. If you don't get facts, there ain't no sense in us getting together, because we get together to share facts. Next question. People like that there. And like I was just telling a young man today, how do we approach fashion? Let me tell you how to approach fashion. When I read, the first book I read when I turned my life around was Malcolm X's speech to the grassroots. And in it he says, one of the speeches to the grassroots, he says, if you want to understand the flower, study the seed. So everything that I've ever gotten involved in, I study with that in mind. So like, say if a rocket ship crashed on Earth, the technology associated with that rocket ship will tell you how to build a rocket ship. So what I did is I studied all the major brands and studied all the symbolism associated with a major brand, and I built it. That's how I mastered their symbolism. I said, we were buying diamonds and furs, and then they started creating luxury goods associated with the symbol, but they didn't know how to exploit the symbol for us. So what I did was, I said, I'm going to exploit this symbol in a way that will be palatable to us. And so that's what you do. And then my recent trip, I went to Africa at first. This idea was born in Africa. When I started my business, I had more people working in Harlem than anybody else. I had 23 Africans sewing and 5 of my family employed, so I had 28 people working. I had 12 people working in the day shift for 12 hours and 11 at night. I was open 24 hours a day for 10 years straight. You know, so these are things you don't know. This is the sacrifice I had to do. It was so much that I had to build an apartment in the back of my store so that my kids can come and see me. Wow. You know, so the game is not easy. But back to the part how you promote fashion. Fashion is like, you have to have a symbol of who you are in your mind first. Where you want to go in your mind first. Now a lot of you people, you wear clothes and you wear different articles, but you don't pay attention to the symbols. I ask some young people what's on their back. They don't even know what's on their back. They bought a coat or a jacket for color. But it's deeper than that. So what I try to do is build around who we are. You build around a symbol. But first I had to master what they was doing. And so when I won the Europeans over, then the regular middle class and upper class people of color came over and say, oh, that's the man there. But I had to win them over before I win my own people over. And then once that was part 2. Now part 3 is, I just came back from Africa, and I was incorporating in my brand, when I go out on my own, Yoruba symbols and what it means. So I take a brand and now I incorporate who we are in the symbols of the brand. And that's how you build a brand. You don't go out and get a t-shirt and put something slick on it. You think about where we need to go as a people, and that's what you focus on.
I love that. You can give it up. You stay.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, hold on a second. If you've enjoyed this talk,
They want questions or something? That's supposed to happen?
a Q&A? We're doing a Q&A? No.
I want to go home and say, Dap ain't let me ask no question. Get on out of here.
Well, Dap, there's a meet and greet. So there's a meet and greet, so they'll have an opportunity there.
Okay.
But if you guys have enjoyed this talk as much as I have personally, I want, with all the love you have in your heart, give Dap the warmest and hugest round of applause. Thank you so much.
Oh, y'all.